Hi guys and welcome. Today we're looking at this thrifted picture frame that I found and I'm making into this, which I ended up loving in the end, but it was quite a process to get there. It it was a couple weeks. So you'll see that process from start to finish and we can get started on that. So full disclosure, I did lose some of my footage. So if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that's a thing that I do a lot. And so you can see this is obviously a lot painted and a lot further along than the first clip was. And that's because I lost a good, I don't know, hour or two of footage. And this happens because I record on my cell phone and then move it to my laptop. And I then have to delete the videos from my cell phone to save storage space. And then you think, "Oh, well, I could just, remove them from my trash." No, I have to empty my trash to keep recording videos. So they're gone forever. So just pretend that they were there. Just pretend that they were there. So the footage of me drawing this skull on here and painting the top hat and the eye sockets and things like that, that's pretty much gone forever. So just pretend that you saw it. I promise I did it. I did. I did do the thing. It's just lost it. Um, so I just wanted to add a little bit more light to the eye sockets here and just touch up some of the paint that you're seeing that I still had some marks underneath. This is a canvas that I repurposed, so that's why you kind of see some of the paint underneath. I was painting over an old canvas that I had that never sold. So you can see some spots here and there that are a little bit darker, but later on you're not going to notice it that I used an old canvas of mine to paint over it. So it wasn't someone else's canvas, it was my canvas that didn't sell ever. So I just kind of decided, you know what, I'm tired of looking at it. I'm just going to paint over it. And a lot of artists do that to their own work. It is a way to save money on canvases because they are expensive to buy. So at this point, I decided to add some texture to the background, and I thought that would be a cool way to kind of make the background stand out a little bit. This is me showing you the limitation of what I have to work with here. So this is a really big canvas, and so it's hard to get all of that in one shot. So that's why you're only seeing parts of the canvas. And I can't record it on an easel like a normal artist would because when I start adding the items to the assemblage art, the epoxy glue that I use, it would just like slide off the canvas. So that wouldn't be good. And then you need to let the epoxy dry for a bit. So you have to leave it on a flat surface so it doesn't just slide off and make a mess of your work. So that's the same texture piece that I always use. And here I decided I want to make the background purple. And I kept adding purple and white together. And then I add a little bit of black because I wanted it to be darker. And I thought I liked the color. And turns out when it was dry, I really hated it. And the thing with acrylics is that it dries a different shade, usually a shade or two darker than what when it looks like when it's wet. So if you ever painted walls in your house, wall paint is actually acrylic paint. So if you ever got a sample and you're like, well, why does it look so different on my walls once it's dry? That's why, because it does dry a little bit darker than what you're seeing on your walls or on your painting when it's dry. There is a point in this painting where I mess up the left side of the face, and I'm not sure when it happened, but I did correct it later on, and I don't know if it's here when I'm painting the purple on or if it's later on, but he kind of loses the jaw structure on the one side, and I don't know. So I really hated the purple, and I decided to add black to the top of it, and then I hated that as well. So then I decided, oh, I'm going to add some of this copper with a palette knife, and that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I really didn't like that as well. So here's what that looks like. And it's kind of splotchy and not really what I was looking for. So then I added some more black on top of it to kind of tone down some of that copper brightness and kind of hope to get some of that gritty look that I was going for. And it didn't really do it for me. So I added some more purple on top to try and tone it down a bit more, and I still didn't like it, even after I added this purple. So at that point, I was like, I shouldn't have messed with it. I should have just left it go. I just, if I keep messing with it, I'm just gonna really end up not liking it. So this is what that looked like when I was done. I didn't like it. I was really angry at myself. So I had these from a previous cosplay that I did, and as you can see in the picture here, it's kind of hard to tell, but they actually go down in the inside. So if I attached them the way they were, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't look right. If you're trying to attach a 3D object to a one-dimensional object. So I took them down my basement and I cut them with a saw. I don't know if you can really see there, but now they don't do that as much. I didn't record that bit because it could have went wrong very, very fast. So I just kind of um, just did that and didn't want to record it in case I chopped off a finger or limb. And then I epoxy glued them down onto the top hat here to give it more of a steampunk vibe. And then I started painting all of the pieces to attach. And this took me so much longer than I expected it to. I had to go back, I don't know, 4 or 5 times to get more pieces because I just wasn't anticipating it taking up this much space and this like I didn't realize how big the painting was until I started adding all the pieces. So to give you an idea, this painting is the largest one I've ever done, and it is I think like 27 by 25 or something like that. So it's a lot. It's really big. It doesn't fit in any of my large totes that I take to shows with me. So I just kind of have to keep that to the side when I travel to shows. And I did have a lot of people look at it while I was at shows. Because of the price point, I think a lot of people didn't buy it, and which is totally understandable. But it did take a lot of time. Obviously, this is sped up by 25, I believe, and this took me a couple weeks to make it. So, taking that in consideration and the amount of materials that it cost me, I just couldn't lower the price too much. I was willing to give lady like a 10% discount. I think the one lady asked for a discount on it, and I was like, I can do like 10%, maybe. Well, I'm really not making much or anything on it. Um, and then she's like, oh well, I'll think about it, and she didn't buy it, and that's fine. I mean, like I said, it is a big piece, and it is a lot. It is my most expensive piece, but I also think it's really cool. Oh God, my cat is trying to climb on me again. Stop, Simon, please. Every time I do voiceovers, he just wants to be in them. Simon. So I'm just attaching all of the pieces that I previously painted, and these are like gems, charms, anything that I can find that would fit into that space. This is a really difficult process because it's just trying to find that exact piece to fit in that exact spot. Here I attached the teeth, which are made out of popsicle sticks that I cut down and reshaped them to look like teeth. I think I have that footage in here, or maybe we already saw it. I'm not sure. And then I painted them white to make them look more like teeth. But I did have to redo some of them because I didn't like the way they looked. So I ended up cutting new popsicle sticks and replacing some of the ones before I glued them down because I don't know. They were too square looking and teeth are more like rounded at the top. So then I spent some time just touching up some spots that I think needed a little bit more TLC, which is what you saw me doing there. And then this is the first layer for the top hat. And I initially was going to make the top hat, everything on the top hat black, like I did with the skull face. But then I decided I wanted to keep the next layer in multicolors. And I think that's what made me like it overall in the end, because it added that um, extra metallic that kind of brings the background into the painting and made it make sense. So I added some gears first. Um, these are like watch parts, little gears and wheels. That piece in the middle there held up my painting for weeks because I thought I had it and it never arrived. So I was waiting for that piece in the middle of the goggles to come in, and I was going crazy trying to find it, and it never came in, and that's why I couldn't find it. So I added a lot of keys to this, and then I added this chain to the brim of the hat. So that's what that looks like all finished there, or mostly finished. Yep, no, that's all finished. And then I went back and I did some more touch-ups. This is something I do a lot in my paintings. Usually once it's dry and you can look at it from a different angle, you can see what needs to be touched up, especially when you're working with 3D paintings. So this is the frame again. So we're back to the frame and you can see that it's really dirty and needed a good cleaning. So I had to take it all apart. And one of the things I will say is if you're ever going to thrift frames, make sure you take a good look at the frame outside of your house before you bring it in. Make sure there's no bed bugs or any kind of bugs or anything inside of it before you bring it in your house. You don't want to put that stuff in your house. So that's my pile of glass there that I take out from pictures that I upcycle. And then I try to get the nails out. So this was just a print, which most paintings in stores are going to be. They're just going to be a print. And then I took the gold frame and I painted it. Yep, you guessed it, black. You might have remembered this setup from previous videos. This is my spray painting area. And then I took out the rest of these nails, which I regret doing later on because I kind of needed them. But there we are. The nails are out. They were old and rusty though, so I did replace them. So I got a piece of particle board and attached it to the back of the canvas, and then I stapled it down. I'm sorry, poster board. I did replace it later on with particle board because the canvas is too heavy to sit in the frame properly. And I also did replace the nails. And there you go. There is the final outcome of what it looks like. I absolutely love the way it turned out. I think it looks so nice. And I hope somebody buys it and enjoys it for a very long time because it was a labor of love. And I love it. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Stay spooky, my friends.